Allie G show.
Wow. With Kristen and Sia.
And breathe. This month has been really busy. I was in Curacao at the beginning of the month, taking part in a vlogger competition. And then I was in San Diego meeting with Sony Electronics and planning some upcoming travels, which I'll let you know about soon. Now it's the time you've been waiting for. Thank you so much for all of your comments and feedback, but there are only 2 winners who get these bags, these wonderful bags. The MJ Shiebe bag. And the winners are, drumroll please, Lawlers 3 and Penny 73 Lane. Woo! Love this. You will be receiving one of these bags. So now I have my 2 friends here. Well, Sia, fiance, friend, you know this guy.
I'm gonna be a lover.
My other lover, Allie G. She is a tour leader, I should say CEO, Chief
Experience Officer
for G Adventures. One of the greatest ways of traveling the world is to work abroad, and that's exactly what Allie is doing. She's traveling and getting to see the world, but she's working at the same time and meeting some really cool people and doing some really interesting things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, what part of the world you work, and what's it like to be a tour leader?
For me, it's amazing. Like I said, I work Mexico City to Panama City. I basically take groups of adventure travelers with G Adventures all around on their itineraries. It's already set up, so I get there and I welcome them into the hotel, and then I explain what we're going to do and sort of how the whole itinerary is going to work and how it works to be on a group trip. And then I take them and I'm their local point of contact. I've got some few local knowledge in my back pocket that I give out. And then if they have an emergency or something, I'm there, and then I just help them have as much fun as they can.
Now, a lot of people probably, they think, oh, to travel the world and get paid for it, that's living the dream. Would you say it's living the dream?
Yes.
100%?
Yes. But that's for me. It's a certain type of person, I think. Depends on the job.
What kind of person does it take to be a CEO for G Adventures?
First thing I would say is you have to be really organized and patient. Those are 2 biggest things. So you'll have, all that, the glory of spending the time doing the activities with people and meeting new people, and that stuff's amazing. But then, they can knock on your door at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, I have an ear infection, take me to the hospital, and you have to go. Or they can get arrested and you have to, help get them out of jail.
Oh my God, has someone actually been arrested?
Yeah.
For someone that is interested in maybe becoming a tour leader, what advice would you give them?
Don't start tour leading your family first. Because after I did that, I said I would never be a tour leader. I thought that was my first experience.
So don't tour lead your family?
Yep. I would say you have to make sure that you're comfortable. I mean, you look at all the fun stuff, but you have to think about the other things. Are you comfortable living out of a backpack? I've been living out of a backpack for almost 2 years. I'm in a different hotel every 2 to 3 days. I'm traveling 6 or 7 hours every other day. I mean, if that's what you want to do and you don't think that's too bad, held up against everything else that's good, give it a try.
Do you feel any homesickness when you actually come home? Like you miss it there?
Definitely. Especially this year. I came home last year. This is around the same time. I'd been there for about a year. And now I miss even more just because I have such a big community there and I have so many friends. I have so many little things and everywhere I go that now that's home to me and this isn't as much. So it's great to visit my friends and family, but I'm excited to get back.
Now, for someone that wants to be a tour leader, they think this is what they want to do. Is there a certain amount of time that you have to put into becoming a tour leader? Like, is there a contract?
Well, for example, G Adventures, your first contract needs to be 18 months because you gotta imagine that they spend a lot of money training you and you go on a shadow training and it's basically a free trip. It's not a vacation, but you're getting the hotel and the transportation. You're learning and you're on the go the whole time and you're kind of stressed out on that trip, but that's money that the company's spending, so they want 18 months out of you.
Okay, so now we've swapped positions.
It just seems right. This is like the Allie show today. So
excellent.
Allie G show.
Allie G show. She's got to be in the middle.
So you guys are lucky because I think that Allie is a perfect person to talk to if you would like to travel the world, if you want to meet interesting people, if you want to save money, if you want to learn a new language. All these things can be bundled up into one job. And Allie does this for a living, and she's been doing it for the past, let's say, 700 days. It's been a long time.
Do you ever get tired?
For sure. It gets exhausting. I mean, most of our trips are 2 to 3 weeks on average where you're with the same people. And most of the time, honestly, I love my passengers. But it's tiring. You're on the go the whole time, and you can't plan time for yourself maybe. And you might only get that at the end of your trip, but then you might start in another 2 days. And you might travel from Playa del Carmen in Mexico down to San Jose and Costa Rica in 32 days, and you're working the whole time. And then maybe you have 2 days off and you start again. Sometimes you have a week off and you can relax. But yeah, it's tiring.
Experience-wise, you're like rich, but
For sure.
income-wise,
I mean, I live a great life. I live a great life in Central America. I get paid as a Central American. So I don't make a whole lot per day. I mean, we'll say that you can usually make, as a tour leader, I would say in any company that's sort of on level with G Adventures, you might make anywhere between $25 and $40 per day as your salary. And then you got a bit of food coverage, you don't have any expenses, and then you make some tips, and you have some cash floating around that you end up using, like your tips and stuff. But
I guess you're not spending money
I'm not
though,
spending
right?
money, but in a year and a half, I've never had to think about, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy this or do this. I mean, you can't buy a lot of souvenirs, you're traveling, but maybe you want a tattoo or like a nice piece of jewelry, or you want to go on a vacation or your time off. I've never had to think about it. And I've saved a lot, enough to take 4 months off and travel to Europe for 2 months. I stayed down there for an extra month traveling. I came home for a month.
It's incredible.
Very lucky to have your job.
I feel like the luckiest person in the world, all the time.
Have you noticed, since you've probably been going back to the same people over and over again, right? So you're helping their own business. Have you seen them grow? Like your
for
business
sure.
has really helped people?
For sure, and that's sort of the idea of what G Adventures does with Planetera. The whole sort of idea to help the world by moving tourism through it. That's our sort of big idea, and I've seen it time and time again. I go to the same restaurants just because I love them and I know I'm going to get good service, and I'm kind of a chicken to piss off my passengers. So, so I've seen businesses grow. I've seen Franny's in Cape Hawker. She went from one picnic bench and a barbecue, sort of this. She's at the same barbecue on the beach side.
Best
She just
lobster.
Yeah, she just had one picnic bench, and now she's built a hut, and she has a little kitchen in there. And I mean, it's not a big difference, but that's just in 1 year.
Yeah.
And I see stuff like that all the time. I've seen hotels change. I've seen restaurants get bigger. I've seen so much. I've seen small horseback riding companies get really big.
So that's a big part of, I guess, what G Adventures does, is they're not just bringing people and traveling around and whatever, having fun for a couple of weeks. They're actually bringing business and giving back to the communities that
For sure,
they're exposing people to.
that's the whole, I mean, in our opinion, that's the whole idea of how tourism can help the world, is by moving people through and spreading out the money to different communities. We've got projects set up with Planetera, where we have, in Central America, we've got 2 homestays that I regularly visit with my passengers. And those are Planetera projects where we now use them, and we pay the communities for housing and food and whatnot, and we bring our passengers through every time. And the passengers get a local sort of mine homestay in Guatemala, and another local village stay in Nicaragua. And they get the experience, and the community gets to prosper.
I love that. You're not just going to these places and getting the experience for yourself, you're giving back to the communities that you're visiting, and that's really important. Really important.
Yeah, I totally believe in it. That's why I'm so happy about doing it.
Cool. What qualifications do people need to do what you do? How can, like, someone's like, yeah, I want to be a tour leader. Well, how do they start? What do they do?
Apply. I mean, we're a totally wild bunch of people, I would say. And some people have dancing backgrounds from New York, and I've got a journalism and communication background. I don't have any tourism background. Some people are tourism background, they've always known about this. Other people can have whatever kind of background, but they have the interest. And maybe, I would say if you've got the interest, the passion, you believe in the company that you're going for is going to help you get into that certain company. And the language helps for sure. And if you've traveled the area before, at least briefly, or been at least to the region, then I'd say apply and you've got a good shot.
So does someone have to speak at least a little bit of Spanish to work in Central America?
For sure. You have to speak Spanish before you get down there. That's how you're talking to suppliers and hotels and drivers. And imagine sitting in a restaurant with 16 people and not being able to help them with their order.
Yeah, it's true. If you have any questions for Allie, because I know that we could talk about this forever and this video could be really long, but we're not going to do that. But if you do have any questions for Allie, leave it in the comment box below, and she's my good friend, so we'll get the
We're
answers.
just good friends without for more than that.
She's my best friend.
Oh.
We're just one big family. Thanks everyone. I'll see you on Thursday.